The next thing that we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be using throughout this class is significant figures and calculations. So whenever you complete a calculation in this class, your final answer is going to have to be rounded. And the way that you round it is based on either significant figures or decimal places, depending on what you are doing in your final calculation. So if your final calculation is multiplying or dividing, the number of significant figures is going to be the same as the measurement with the fewest number of significant figures. So let me give you an example. If you look at example A, 4.56 has 3 significant figures, 1.4 has 2. And so when I multiply those together, the answer I get is 6.384. Now I need to round that answer, and I'm going to round it to 2 significant figures. And so my answer is going to be 6 point, and then the tenths is what I need to round to. So that's going to be rounded to 6.4 because that's 2 significant figures. For example, B, 298 has 3 sig figs, 8.315 has 4 sig figs, and so when I divide, I end up getting 35.8388, and it continues on. Well, since 298 has 3 sig figs, that's how many sig figs I need. And so as a result, I'm going to round this to 35.8 because that has 3 significant figures. Okay? Now, that's if the very final step I complete in my calculation is multiplication or division. If the final step is addition or subtraction, then the final answer should have the same number of decimal places as the measurement with the fewest number of decimal places. And so that's the number of digits to the right of the decimal point. If instead of being rounded to the tenths or the hundredths, your measured value actually is rounded, let's say, to the tens place, then you would need to round your final answer to the tens place, but we rarely deal with that. So the rule I'm giving you right now is simply count the number of digits to the right of the decimal point just to make it a little bit easier. So let's look at that. How many decimal places does 186.1203 have? Well, it has 4 decimal places. 2.04 has 2 decimal places. So when I add those 2 values together, I end up with 188.1603. So my final answer is going to need 2 decimal places. So that's going to round to 188.16. For the subtraction, 58.266, that has 3 decimal places. 1.1 has 1 decimal place. And so when you subtract unrounded, it's 57.166. So I want just 1 decimal place. So it's going to be 57.2. So the exception to that rule as far as digits to the right of the decimal point is concerned, if, for example, in example A, instead of giving you 186, I had given you 190, notice that 190 is rounded to the tens place. So your final answer would be 190 as well because that's rounded to the tens place.